I got that final little bit of technology going on. Hello and welcome. Let's see who we got on the call. Fantastic. I hope I'm not out of line for saying this, but I believe we have a birthday girl on the call today. And so that is very exciting. So to our manager here in the Massachusetts state, Sharon Mendes, I believe today's your birthday. And so happy, happy birthday. So glad we get to share it with you. Look at you. You look fantastic.
Yeah, I'm 16 today.
Fantastic. Are you 60? Oh my God.
I'm
Girl,
61. I turned it around. 60.
you look wonderful. You look fantastic. Happy,
I mean, if I was
happy
61
birthday.
and I look like you, I'd be like, I'm 61. Look at me.
Thank you.
I got it from my mama.
So this is your surprise. This is your surprise party. Surprise! Here we are.
This is how we
Nothing says
during-
family like getting together.
Hey, we're legal share.
Well, welcome.
Let us down.
That's right. Happy birthday to you. Welcome to everybody. I'm just going to give everyone just a few seconds to settle in. I'm going to just start to bring in the statewide news. I do feel like a newscaster or a news reporter. Getting to be in charge of the daily. So let's see. I think I'm on the spotlight, and I think a lot of folks have shut down their video. So Miss Mendes, if you would shut down your video, that'd be amazing.
Yes, ma'am.
No problem. And I just want to welcome and thank everybody for taking the time out tonight. It is Thursday, August 6th. It is Thursday for those folks who aren't sure which day of the week it is. I know that I'm one of those people. We have an exciting special guest in Timber Mosley tonight, but right now I get to tell you the news as we know it here in Massachusetts. In front of you, you see what I created, just this card, and we've shown it every single week. And what it's doing is I really want to help everybody just get grounded, know exactly where we are. We have a Facebook page, which I'll show you in a moment. We have the Baystate LSA, the Baystate Zoom.com is our Zoom link. We have this wonderful weekly meeting. We have will parties on Thursdays now at 1 o'clock, because I had to move that due to some other obligations, but I think that's going to even be better. And then this little card here, I'm going to make sure that this is also on our Facebook, just continues to describe all of the other things that are going on in Massachusetts. We've started a Monday night open house.
Don't be nervous.
Oh,
I hate violence.
I'm going to go ahead and mute everyone. We started a Monday night open house, which is exciting. And so I hope you'll plug into there. And you know what, if you are in the place where you want to conduct one of the open houses, I absolutely welcome you to come on board. If you want to get trained and try to figure that out, let's get you starting to get exposed, because this is your business. And then we have this wonderful Thursday meeting. As I noted, we do in fact have a Facebook page. It's Baystate LSA. And the goal of this is just to create community. I mean, not just, but I think one of the vital components of our business is creating community and family and really being there for one another. And also, there are a lot of questions around licensure, and I know that folks are always looking for a clear set of answers. And so our goal is to use that page also just to be able to be that one-stop shop where you can, compare what's going on in your back office, make sure that you're talking to corporate, but also that you have just resources around and people who've already taken it. Excitingly coming up, we have a Super Saturday, as we do every single month. This one is going to be on the 15th, and we have April and Rob Hurst. Apparently they are setting this business on fire, and they have been on multiple panels recently, but we get to have them as our special guests. So please remember to plug your folks in at 12 o'clock for that open house, and then stay for the training. There are just some people who are just going to be mesmerized and entertained and educated and just be ready to launch their business. So please join us. This all, as we know, everything leads to the next thing. So as you're bringing your prospects to the open houses, as you're attending the Super Saturday, we have to remember that we do have an upcoming leadership conference, and the leaderships have historically are just phenomenal. And so that's a great chance. And you know what? I know there's a lot of questions out there about, with COVID, are we meeting in person or are we not? This is what I know. Legal Shield takes care of us. What I know is that there's going to be a moment of education, knowledge, sharing, leadership. And the point is, and the drive that we have right now is to make sure that everybody in our team is aware that this is coming up, that we have the tickets. I bought my tickets, plane tickets on Southwest. As we get closer to October 9th, it's likely, as we did in the last one, maybe they're going to shift gears and go to a virtual site. It doesn't matter. I'm ready to go. And maybe my bags won't be packed and maybe I will have slippers on underneath my desk, but that's okay. Because as long as I'm there, because the last one was just off the hook. Really exciting. And now those were like the big picture announcements. We're now going to just celebrate you. We're going to celebrate those who are making a difference. A lot of folks may not realize how their business gets built. And this business gets built one membership at a time, one family that's protected. That's the gift that you get to give somebody. And so we know that, you know, we don't have all the current data. So for those of you who have teams that are very likely not represented here, let's make sure that you get my contact so that we can update that weekly, you know, but we do know that there's a lot of folks who are to be celebrated. I am so excited here. And then I know that Salvador Rodriguez is a new name on the list for this week. We have a new person in Massachusetts, Daquan Brooker, who's been hustling. We have a lot of folks who are really making a difference. And thank you so much for making that first sale, because from that first sale and that first family protected, you're going to just keep on going, because the next step is Performance Club. And so we're looking back at the end of July, people who rounded out their business with Performance Club. And this is the level that is the foundation of our success. If you're looking for those EDs, if you're looking to go bronze, silver, gold, you have to have a team that's already thinking all the time Performance Club. We've got some first monthers, so that actually means that this month would be month number 2. And so I think, and I want to apologize, I believe Amy Mahoney was a Performance Club member, and I happen to know that because she's on my team, so I want to acknowledge her, and I'll make sure that that slide gets pulled and updated. Well, my time for the moment is gone. I just always want to welcome you here. I'm here for you. I'm Joe Welch, and your CMC, your friendly neighborhood CMC. But without further ado, this amazing man who is here with us every day, who is accessible to you, who has made not only his first million, working on his second, but actually many more millions ahead. He is a $200,000 ring earner, a member of the Millionaire Club, and he's here to share some words. And also, you know, he's a smart guy, because he's like, not just am I here, right, Jim? Not just am I here, but I'm going to bring a friend. And so I'm so excited, because I know you're going to let us know who is our special guest for tonight. And Jim, I'm going to go ahead and spotlight you and take it away.
Joe, thank you so much. And congratulations for all you do for Massachusetts. And honestly, again, you know, I can't say this enough. When you look at the size and scope of a state like Massachusetts, from Cape Cod to North Adams, listen, we just in the last few days, we had like 9 different weather situations across the state. It's a big place. And so it's a lot of ground to cover. We're doing it all through technology at the moment. And I couldn't do it without you. So we appreciate everything you pour into this local marketplace and the way that you are accessible to all of us as well. You know, it's one thing for me to come on to a Zoom or any kind of training and say, you know, everybody go do it, right? But when you are being led by Joe Welch, someone who's in the trenches every day, building, she's a top recruiter, she's doing top production here in the state, and she's supporting duplication in her team, which means that people that she's recruiting are winning. So a lot of the folks on that list, she's not going to brag about herself, but a lot of folks on that list are in her team. So congratulations to you, Joe. We appreciate everything that you do. And I want to get out of the way because I'm going to introduce a friend of mine. Now, I'm going to say nice things about her, but I can't guarantee she's going to say nice things about me. We'll see how this goes. So while I've got a shot at it, I'm going to tell my Timber Mosley introduction story. I met Timber Mosley. Initially, I assumed that she was trying to steal my child because she had crazy baby snatcher eyes and she was luring my child in for a hug. And I said, "Who is this lady, and what is her intentions?" And that was in New Orleans, Louisiana, where I believe that we were both celebrating new ring levels, and we got to talk and bond over our shared love of building this business with our children at the center of our at the center of what matters the most to us. And Timber Mosley is someone who not only knows how to build this business, but is one of the top trainers in the entire country. So I took a shot in the dark about a week ago and I said, Timber, is there any chance we could get a few minutes of your time to share with our Massachusetts associates and let them hear from somebody that is building big, but also training really the majority of the Legal Shield associates through her Fast Start class. She's training the majority of the people that are leveling up the fastest all over the country, because now we're doing it through Zoom instead of in a hotel conference center. She's training people everywhere. So please help me welcome from somewhere in the deepest, darkest, southest part of America, Miss Timber Mosley, 6-figure income earner, top producer, second generation superstar, and all around cool lady. Timber, do we have you here?
Yeah, I'm right here. Thank you,
There
guys.
you are.
First thing I just wanted to say was thank you, Jim. Actually, the funny thing about that conference was I got a ring, but I was late to get it. And so I didn't I had too much fun in New Orleans, but basically I walk up to Jim and I really wasn't concerned about him or his ring. I saw Olive, and Jim will tell you I'm Olive's spirit animal, like if he was just being honest, because I met her when she was a baby and there's never been a trip where she hasn't like forgot that I'm Timber. And like she wasn't old enough then to comprehend that I'm Timber, but like now it's like she knows she's known me since she was a baby. It's real weird, isn't it, Jim? Because she never forgets me. And when she gets on an airplane to go somewhere, she knows they're going to see Timber. So I think it's cute. She's like that about Adam and Alicia too. But basically, she likes me more. But I started this business really, really, really by accident, guys. To be honest with you, I was raised in a way that I thought I was too good for network marketing. Just being real about it. And what I mean by that is I was probably the most ambitious child of all time growing up. I thought I would be like the next Oprah, or, be on TV and have my own TV show and give people cars. And that's cool and everything, but like that's not obviously in the cards for every single person out there. But I can tell you guys, from doing this, why I got to the point that I wanted to do it forever was just because it went from my head to my heart. Number one, I was just talking to somebody today about why I love Legal Shield. And I love Legal Shield because no matter who's running for president, or no matter what color people's skin are, or no matter how old or how young people are, everybody in our family loves each other. And no matter how hard the world is trying to drag people apart, it seems like everything that happens in the world, the common love that we have in Legal Shield, everybody just gets closer, even if they can agree to disagree. And if the whole world was like Legal Shield, it would be a better place. But I can tell you guys, when I was 10 years old, I didn't like Legal Shield so much because my mom started working for this company. And I was like, why is my mom gone all the time? Like, why does she want to do this? Why is this important? And I guess the difference between me and my child is my child's never seen anything but me do Legal Shield. And if I go on a work trip and come home, he knows we're going to Walmart because I've built him a legacy. And I'm going to be real with y'all. I had to work very, very hard to get where I'm at. But in 2017, I almost quit. Like, I had my old boss call me. He offered me more money than I was making in Legal Shield. And he basically told me that he wanted me to come work for him. And there was free health insurance involved too. And I was just like, I am going to fill out that application in 2 days. And the reason I look like this right now is because I went to the gym and I'm really seriously focusing on not worrying about what other people think. So I don't have any makeup on. But the blessing is you don't have to look great 24/7 to make 6 figures in Legal Shield. So I'm going to apologize for that right now. But what I can tell you guys is I had strived for so long to be somebody else in Legal Shield that I used to get angry when people were doing better than me, like in my own state. I know that sounds bad, but you shouldn't be angry. You should just understand that everybody has a season. Because I'm so competitive. It wasn't because I disliked them or wasn't happy when they wrote a big group or something. It was just honestly like I really would get angry because I was like, well, why isn't that happening for me? I work harder than them. I just have these awful, because I just wasn't personally developed as much as I am now. Now when I see somebody on the performance club and they're doing better than me, I'm actually thankful that they're having a good month. But I used to not be like that. And just to be honest with y'all, every single year that I'm in Legal Shield, I grow because I'm only 30 years old. So at 20 something, I wasn't as mature as I am like now. And definitely when I started at 20, I was a little savage, just to be real with y'all. And so the main thing I could say that Legal Shield has honestly done for me is it's made me somebody that I'm so much more proud of to look in the mirror and see. When I go to school, like the school I went to today, and I'm getting ready to market this product, and I stand up in front of people and I start telling them about it, and they remember my name and they remember that my child's Mason. They weren't just a number to me. They weren't just a sell to me. They became a friend, and they became somebody who I remember their last name. I know which subject they teach. I know what something about them is, their interest and their passion. I knew that one lady's son was a senior last year. So I asked her what her son was planning on doing this year for college. And it just sparked up a conversation. You would be amazed how much more somebody becomes interested in you when you take interest in them. It's kind of like when I met little Olive in New Orleans. She's interested in me because I got on her level, like literally sat on the floor in the middle of the conference, and I found out what she liked, which was my bracelets. So I took them all off and gave them to her. But the point I'm making is, in your business, you have to get on whatever level people are at and meet them where they're at. And you can't sit there and worry about what somebody else has that you don't have, because everybody has different needs. I dated a guy up until 2 months ago, and I think with everything you should have a takeaway. And my takeaway from dating him is truly that sometimes I put too much emphasis on how much money I was going to make, opposed to what type of lifestyle Legal Shield created for me. The blessing's not $100,000 a year. The blessing is, if I go to bed tonight and I don't wake up tomorrow, my child has $8,000 a month, no matter what. And I can't think of a lot of people that can say that at 30 years old. Am I saying that to boast or brag? No, I'm saying that because that is the biggest blessing to me. If you were a single mom and you know that you don't necessarily have the most reliable baby daddy in your life, the biggest blessing you could know that you've given your child is the fact that until your kid's 18 years old, he'll have some type of money coming in to take care and support him. And I didn't realize at 22 years old what that would turn into. But now at 30, I'm just like, what else is it going to turn into? How much bigger can it get? And one night I was praying, and I believe in God. And I just want to say, like, I'm not pushing this upon anybody, but it was really cool experience, because as I was praying, I realized that the $100,000 a year was awesome. But the biggest blessing was the wilderness I had to walk through to get to the $100,000 a year. There's a book by J.C. Watts, and I love it because when I was an MVP, they gave us the book. Jim was the MVP at the time too. And they gave us the book called Dig Deep at conference. And it talks about, it's not where you're going, but it's the biggest deal of how you play your cards in the middle. And it didn't hit me when I first read the book, but when I was on my road to my goal, and it doesn't matter if your goal is just performance club every month. When y'all saw that list, that's awesome for the people that are on that. Congratulations. But it doesn't matter if your goal is just like performance club, or if your goal is, $100,000 a year, or if your goal is to be like Jim Tanner and make $1 million in your Legal Shield career. Whatever your goal is, it's awesome that you have a goal, but don't lose yourself while running for that goal. Don't do anything to other people that you're not proud of. Stick with who you are and be true to you. One thing about Legal Shield that keeps me here is I'm unapologetically myself. If you see me somewhere and I'm acting crazy and you're like, Timber's drunk, I'm not drunk. I'm just high on life. Like, there's no substance that makes me like that. I'm just like that. So there's a lot of people that think I drink, but there's multiple people that know me really well that have never seen me drink a drop of alcohol, like when they've been around me. So it's just, I'm just high on life. And I love the fact that every day I wake up, I get to be who I am. And I can't tell you how many people have been like, well, I was drawn to you because you acted just how you were. So I'm blessed that in the 10 years I've done this, I've never had to lose who I was to do my occupation. And then number two, I'm blessed for the wilderness I was led through, where there were many droughts, and there were many times I sat in the car and cried. And there were many times that I thought, oh my God, I'm going to quit. There was a few times I had to go take my debit card into a grocery store and buy the food for that enrollment. And when I swiped my card to go do it, I knew I was putting my bank account in the hole, but I had faith in my ability to go into the group or talk to the person and do better than what I had just went my account in the hole. And I don't have to do any of that anymore. But at the time that I did have to do it, I'm thankful for those times, because through this time, it's taught me that it all pays off. So it doesn't matter if you're a networker, if you do group, if you have a team, whatever, if you sell small business plans, whatever your strategy is, you just have to stick with what you say you're going to do. My biggest problem with what I do in my Legal Shield business is I'm definitely not consistent. Like, if I go do an enrollment and I sell 50 apps like the third day of the month, I'm probably not going to do anything for a week. And that's on me, because that's my own fault. But I want to be better about that now. And I've lost 40 pounds recently. So when I go out and I'm working out, and then I decide that I'm going to, be home, now that I don't take a nap because I'm like not as fatigued anymore, because the better shape you get in, the more you can stay awake, I'm going to start adding 2 to 3 extra things. And if I could leave you guys with 3 things to really, really, really grow your business, I would say number 1, learn a proper presentation in this business. And that's one of the things I teach in my Fast Start training. I don't think people understand it when they're brand new, but do not go out and vomit on people until you have a plan of action of how you're going to execute. Think about anybody that sold you something, whether it was like your cell phone, maybe somebody came to your house and sold you security. Maybe somebody sold you a car before. And think about what the good experiences you had with salespeople that you encountered and what were the bad experiences. Write down the good, write down the bad. And I can tell you guys something. Each time I do a presentation, I go to my car, because the first person that ever critiqued me was my mother. And I ask myself, what could I have done better today? And a big thing, a lot of times that I feel like people don't ever do in their life, is ask themselves how they can get better. That's not a form of putting yourself down. That's a form of progression. When you ask yourself, how can I get better? How can I do more? How can I be more? How can I have more? That's only just saying I care about myself enough to be the best version of me that I can be. So when you're starting with step 1 and you're making your very, very, very best presentation, it's going to be a lot harder for somebody to say no if you deliver properly. And one thing I think that we do not do as much in Legal Shield as we did at one point in time is understand that the people like Jim Tanner that are successful, Miss Joe that are successful, is they had to put preparation into the execution of how they were going to deliver a recruiting call. They had to put plan into execution of how they were going to talk about their business. And a lot of people are like, well, I want what they have. Well, the thing about it is like, to have what somebody's had, you have to do what somebody's done. Before I was 18 years old, I had been to every APT, every Fast Start training, and APT is an advanced product training. So they would literally go through all the do's and the don'ts of how to sell the product. And I wish we still had those, because I believe when I'm selling somebody the plan, if it's not going to do something, I'm just going to sit there and be like, nope, it won't do that. But let me tell you what it will do. I can't tell you how many more people have bought the product from me because I told them there was stuff we wouldn't do than would have bought it had I not disclosed that info. There's no shame in telling somebody, hey, this won't help you with this. It's only a benefit because you're doing something for other people they didn't know about, and you're being authentic with them. And they say, hey, I called in and I got consultation, but it didn't work on that. And I said, see, I told you that, but now you can get your will done and you can use it for the traffic assistance. And they're like, okay, great. I'm so thankful that now I know where I stand in the situation. But it's so much better to be authentic, upfront, and real with people than to sugarcoat something and not have a good approach. So I think I'm supposed to tell you guys about my Fast Start training, and I'll do that at the very end. But one thing that I do in Fast Start is I spend an hour teaching people the presentation, because I do not want people on my team that don't believe they shouldn't have the legal plan. So if I got to the point about, well, you need to have a plan to be an associate, and somebody's like, I don't think I should have that plan, then I'd probably be like, well, I don't think you should be on my team then, because I was under Dave Sabula, and one of the things I heard every Sunday night on the training call is the membership's for everybody, the opportunity's not. And he said that over and over and over again. But what I learned is, without the membership, we don't have an opportunity. So therefore, if people come into this business and they're like, I don't think I need the legal plan, well, I don't think I need them on my team either, because how are they going to go tell something about somebody about something they don't own? So being a product of the product and learning how to execute your product properly is number one. Number two is consistently doing something. So what cracks me up when I get a new person is, we'll get on the phone and we'll talk to one person, and they let that one person make or break them and decide whether they're good enough or not good enough to do this business. I want to ask you guys something. How many of you guys have been dumped before? How many of you guys have had a friendship end? How many of you guys have disagreed with your mother, your father, your grandma, or your grandpa? Maybe you weren't disrespectful to them, but you can completely disagree with what they're telling you to do. And how many of you guys know people that have given you their opinion, but you're just sitting there and you're like, I don't want to emulate your lifestyle. So Mark Brown told me this one day in 2016, and it's stuck with me ever since. I am not taking advice from anybody who doesn't have a lifestyle that I don't want to obtain. So when I'm sitting with Mark Brown at a table and he makes $1 million a year, and he used to be the CEO of the company, and that's my upline, I'm just going to tell you guys something. If he tells me to do something, or he says jump, I'm going to say how high. But if I'm sitting with my cousin, my aunt, my uncle, my brother, and my sister, and they're like, Legal Shield's a scam, y'all want to know something crazy? I'll just tell you. My brother started a business last week. On Monday, he called and signed up for Legal Zoom, but he don't have Legal Shield. I'm not taking his advice, because number one, if he was smart, he would have signed up for Legal Shield, not Legal Zoom. But number two, you should support people that support you, and he didn't do that. And the thing about it is that going to happen to you? Yeah. Jim Tanner's got people in his family that don't own Legal Shield. Everybody's got people in their family that don't own Legal Shield that should. So what I'm trying to tell you is, when you're going out and do this business, you talk to 15 people and all of them say no, just remember this. My hero in this business is Mark Brown. He makes $1 million a year. His upline, Nick Serba, made $1 million a year, and their upline, Dave Sevilla, made $1 million a year. That's 3 people in one linear line that are making $1 million a year. Think about that for a second. There's no other team in Legal Shield that ever had that happen, but there will be one day, because we're in this massive hyper growth mode, and there's room for people to come in and do the same thing. But the one thing I want to tell you guys that I learned from him is, don't buy into stuff that's junk. So if there's somebody from your state calling you and their business isn't what they want it to be like, or your business isn't what you want it to be like, do not get caught up in talking about what somebody else is doing, or how they're not doing it right because they're doing better than you. Worry about you and becoming the best version of yourself that you can be. I had to really, really, really struggle with that, because for a long time in the state I live in, I wasn't celebrated. So I could sell more memberships than anybody. I could out recruit anybody. I could do the best of the best, and be number one in everything. There was still people in my state that weren't going to shake my hand and tell me good job. But that's okay, because what I had to learn is, I'm not doing this business to make anybody's approval. Dennis Rodman, Michael Jordan, arguably the best duo on the basketball court of all time. When they were at work, they made it work, but at home, they never hung out one time. Nick Serba told me this 5 years ago, and I was so mad at him at the time, because I didn't understand what he meant. What he meant was, we can come in and do this business in a way that we just treat it like a business. We don't worry about what anybody else thinks. If we're selling to somebody, or we have somebody in our team, period, that's coming at us in some kind of way, we just learn how to, number one, not get mad at your money, because you never know who they're going to lead you to. And number two, don't take anybody's opinion that when you're going and selling this, that keeps you from reaching your goals. My dad thought Legal Shield was a scam until I actually helped him get out of a business situation that his own business attorney that he paid $500 an hour to couldn't help him, because our attorneys at our law firm were better. And now he's a believer, and he's sold me tons of memberships. So just prove people wrong. Let your haters be your motivators. I tell people all the time, everybody's going to have a hater. Like if you start working on your business, it sometimes can be a lonely road to the top, but love people anyway. And then number 3, the biggest thing I'll leave you with is keep believing and having faith even when you don't see that things are happening for you. Because what I can tell you guys is, I think in my business I've broke 15 executive directors in my career. And what I want you guys to know is none of them ever came from anybody I personally recruited. I want you to write that down. None of those people came from anybody that I put as a number 1 under me. Everybody came from somebody who knew somebody else. So my biggest thing with this call was, I'm seeing all these people get these bonuses again today, and I'm angry at myself because I used to open line recruit 30 to 50 people a month in my prime. And so that was like 2017. And I just want to recruit that many people again, but I want to do it in a way where I have a system in place. One thing about me is I'm not very duplicatable. So I have to be duplicatable to the people under me. Because if I want to sell small business plans that month, I can sell small business plans in ED. If I want to recruit that month, I can recruit in ED. And if I want to go sell just 50 to 75 a month myself, I can do it. But the point is that's not always the best thing for your team. There will be things in your life that happen, maybe depression, maybe the COVID-19, where you're going to need other people and you eventually run to the end of yourself. The system is in place because of the fact that you will run to the end of you. And there will be a day that you've only done as much as you can do. And there's no progression unless you find other people to join arms and link arms with you. So what I did when I started recruiting was, it was awful. Because I'm just going to be real with y'all. I had sold 1,000 memberships before I recruited anybody. And I'm sitting there and I'm just like, these people can't do what I do in group. Like they don't want to go do it. So what am I going to do with them? And so my main goal was to figure it out and figure it out well. Well, in 2016, I was number 2 in the whole country at Fast Start qualifying people. In 2017, number 2 again. I swore to God that if in 2018 I was number 2 again, I was going to stab somebody in the throat. Thank God that I got on stage in front of 10,000 people and said, thank God I'm number 1, because I was going to throat punch somebody today if I wasn't. But the point is everybody on my team was a name and not a number. And most of the people are still on my team. Now, is everybody hitting it out of the park? No, but I have a lot of people that hit Performance Club, and it's made my life a whole lot easier when it comes to ED every month, especially in the month where my boyfriend decided he didn't love me anymore, and I felt real bad for myself. I was executive director, thank God, to my team, and it wasn't a fun month, and it's okay now because I understand that not everybody's going to love you. It's okay. But the thing about it is if you set this stuff up solid enough, it does not matter what kind of punch, what kind of curveball comes your way, you can handle it. And I want to leave you guys with having the faith that there's nothing different about Timber Mosley. There's nothing different about Jim Tanner. I love what Jim Tanner said with his $150,000 ring speech. So like, if I truly love somebody, I sit in convention and pay attention to what they're saying when they're talking. I have ADD really bad. So when John Maxwell spoke at our convention, the only thing I wrote down was, it's not about how much money you make, it's about how much money you can save. You have to become a regulator of your life. And I tell people all the time, Legal Shield's the regulatory product to make sure that they have no headaches and that they're not helping the rich get richer, but they're making sure they have peace of mind, even when their bank account might not always be fat. And they'll be laughing at me when I say that, but it's true. Kanye West has the money to hire any attorney he wants. Most of the people you talk to don't. So when you're selling them Legal Shield, you're being your brother's keeper. And when you live for one, you live for self. But when you live for others, you can live for thousands of people. So when I heard Jim Tanner give his $150,000 ring speech, it was pretty epic, because he said, we don't need to be spectators. We all need to rush the field. And I think just like I'm sitting here with no makeup on, just being authentically myself, every person on this call has the opportunity to say, okay, life is okay, but I want to know that no matter what life throws at me, no matter who dies in my family, no matter who gets sick in my family. My grandma's had cancer for a year now. I have not missed a doctor's appointment. I get to take her to everything, and I made $100,000 a year while doing it, because I dictate my life on my own terms. And what's so funny is when something bad happens like that in my family, everybody calls me and asks me to be the one to take everybody everywhere, because they know I can. But you know what? At the same time, I never get huffy puffy about it. I never get upset. I just go do it because I'm so thankful that I've been provided with the opportunity to do that. Are there still days that suck that I'm like worried about, that I'm just thinking I need to quit, or I need to take a break, or I need to go take a nap because my head hurt? Absolutely. But am I thankful for those days? Yes, because every day in life, you're either in a storm, you're going through the storm, or you're walking out of the storm. And I believe storms truly define like who we are. And so it's not about what kind of storm is thrown at you. It's always about how do you decide to react to the storm. And in everything in life that comes to me, like the minute my boyfriend said something derogatory about my kid, I said, well, I don't make $100,000 a year to sit here and listen to you. So I packed my car up. I didn't need any more explanation. I put my key in the car, put my car in reverse, and drove out of the parking lot, because I don't have to be dependent on anybody for happiness, and I don't have to be dependent on anybody for monetary gain. I'm just looking for somebody that compliments me. So when I find them, I'll let you know. But the point I'm making is set your life up where you can always take care of any situation that's thrown your way. And the way you can do that is by always working this business, because I've seen people get cancer and this pay their bills and then make more money while they're getting cancer treatments than what they were making when they were actually working. It's pretty ridiculous when you start making $50,000 to $100,000 more a year by being in the hospital opposed to being at work. But that's how this thing pans out. I'm 30 years old, and when the coronavirus started, I owed Legal Shield $30,000. Now I owe them $6,000. And so the point I'm making is I'm $6,000 away from being earned out, and I'm 30 years old. If it can happen for me with no makeup on, just got done walking my 10,000 steps, it can happen for you too. So my fast start training's next Monday. My phone number is 501-269-5807. It's on the Louisiana calendar, but if y'all want to send me a text, I'll send you the link. I also have a fast start training class, like website, because what I do is I do a fast start training, and then I allow all the new associates to bring their people to a opportunity call. And when they bring their people to the opportunity call, I tell them they're either an A, a B, or a C. And I'm like, you're an A, which means absolutely, I want to sign up right now. You're a B, which means, hey, I want to sign up, but I can't till the 20th because that's when I get paid. Or you're C, which is like, see you later. I don't want to sign up, but each person I meet that I'm going to do business with, I'll refer you to. So I had a lady that came and took my fast start training, and this guy, I kid you not, was a C, but he referred her to 6 people, and she sold the membership to 4 of them on the next Zoom that I did. So once you get on that page, if you just need some membership calls, I'm always on there doing memberships for people. And why did I do that? Because when the COVID-19 was going on, I said to myself, if I can be the reason for somebody that I make no money off of to make $100, $200, $300, $400, $500, then I'm doing something for people that they can't do for themselves. And that's truly a beautiful thing. When you start doing things for people that have nothing to do with your own monetary gain, you're going to be amazed at what kind of doors open for you in your life. So with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and turn it back over to Jim Tanner. Thank you guys for having me.
Timber, thank you. Wow, fantastic. See, I told you, everybody, I'll get you some good folks. Timber, I always know what to expect, but I also know I've seen through enough people's eyes the first time they experience you that even though we're not all in a room together, I know exactly what people are feeling, and I'm seeing it in the chat. And I hope you can see that as well on your phone, that people are really getting a lot out of this, and they're very appreciative. And I just did a webinar the hour before this. We're talking about integrity and building a business that's going to sustain. And I just love the way that you perceive our business and the opportunity that exists if you build it right. None of us have to be here for, an advanced $100 commission and then out the back door. And we don't want to recruit people like that. We are building a business because, and you understand this as well as I do, because what we do, what has been done essentially is Harlan Stone Cipher and Dave Zavula and all of the people that pioneered this business handed it over to us with an expectation that we would take it somewhere even bigger than what they did with it. And they're entrusting that to us. We are that next generation. And so I just love your authenticity and your spirit, because I work harder every time I hear you, because I know how hard you're working. And I know I'm always about 3, 4, 5 steps behind you, but I'm trying to catch up. Thank you, Timber, so much for being on with us. Joe, I'm
Not
going to
true.
turn it
If
back.
I could recruit like you, I'd be making double what I'm making. So I need to get after it.
I was thinking I just need to recruit more people and get them in front of Timber Mosley. And I hope everybody on this Zoom tonight is thinking the same thing. Get your whole team on that fast start to success class on Monday night. And Timber, hopefully, if you'd be so kind to let me come on and welcome everybody again on Monday night, I sure do love that part. It's fun for me on the.
Every class we have, I have a ring earner that comes and welcomes everybody. So I think that's important, because not only do they get to hear my story, but they hear somebody else's story. And you never know, guys, if you don't have a copy of Profiles of Success and you're recruiting people, you really need a copy of the Profiles of Success, because I cannot tell you how many people come up to me at convention and they say, I wanted to be in Legal Shield because of your story. And when I was sitting at a table with Bev Savula, Nick Serba, Mark Brown, Ross Chantrell, and Michael Dorsey, and somebody came up to me and said, or somebody came up to our table and said, can I meet Timber for a minute? I was like, excuse me, there's like $5 million sitting at this table and you want to meet me? And they were just like, I love you. Like, this lady told me she wouldn't give plasma so she could come to convention and meet me. And I was like, why don't you go meet the Savulas over there? But the point I'm making is, you never know what kind of impact you're going to get to have on somebody's business just by being who you are. Because I don't think people worry about I wish people wouldn't talk about how much money that we were making. I wish we would just kind of talk about, that's Timber, because I think that that's so much more important than the money that's behind it. So even when I make $1 million a year, I hope they just say I'm a 6-figure ring earner, because I want people to know my heart and not be impressed by the 7 figures. So, yeah.
Thank you again, Timber. I mean, no one can say it as well as you do. So we appreciate you. And I'm going to step aside. It's almost the top of the hour. Joe, we'd love your final thoughts to close out the Zoom this evening.
Thank you so much, Timber. Thank you so much for your words, for your time, for your authenticity. I think especially in this day and age and with COVID, we're all, if this thing fell down behind me, you'd get to see like the reality behind my living room. And I think that we're all really adjusting to living in a very real space. And I appreciate hearing your words about that. I think that it also really strikes us as we're creating our new identities, right? As people are opening up their businesses and figuring out who they truly are, there's no need to create something that isn't authentic. There's only reasons to dig deeper and to find really who you are, so that this opportunity that we've been allowed can then be spread to others, and it'll just make you even brighter, make you even better at the things that you do. And I enjoyed your stories. I have pages of notes, of course, because as we always do. Just some of the things, the standard, like, of course, we have that message of don't buy someone else's opinion if you don't want to buy their lifestyle. I think that is a fantastic reminder, especially right now, when even as people are being successful, there's still that doubt out there, right? And so for those of you who are out here, when we do what we do, as we are salespeople, but sales is simply a transfer of belief, and we believe in the product, but maybe you don't believe in yourself. And we have to think about that fact that we're transferring both of those beliefs forward. I would say tap into what Timber has. Take a piece of her story and say, I believe in her as well, and pass that along as you're still trying to navigate where your story is coming from. I want to thank you all for coming. Timber, I want to thank you for taking time in your mobile office after your 10,000 steps to join us. Jim, as always, you are a fantastic business partner and friend, and I am incredibly grateful to the impact you have, not only on our state but also to me. You are a huge part of changing my business and what I'm doing. And to all of you out there, including our birthday girl, it is the beginning of the month. We are just getting started. We have an incentive on the books, so you guys, there is no money being left on the table. no money being left on the table. So with that message, I say to you all, good night, and we'll see you next Thursday. Good to meet you, Timber. Thank you.